This video will be about some tips for installing vinyl wall decals. Unlike a car window or car painted surface, walls aren't always non-porous, so it's a little more difficult to get the decals to stick sometimes. First, you want to make sure that the wall is free of any grease or debris or dust. For this, I'm using Spick and Span. Clean the area thoroughly where you plan to have the decal applied. If you don't have Spick and Span, any other degreaser will work. Now, give the wall plenty of time to dry. When you get your decal, it should arrive like this. It's got a layer of white masking transfer tape on top. We utilize this tape for the wall decals because it's not as tacky as our normal tape, which allows it to release the decal onto the wall easier since the wall isn't as good of a prepared surface for the decal. On the back, it's got some wax paper. And in between, the decal lies on the wax paper attached to the transfer tape. What you want to do is take a credit card or a squeegee and rub it thoroughly. Make sure to get every little piece of transfer tape rubbed as well as you can so that it can lift the decal off when it comes time to apply it. Rub it from the front, then turn it over and rub the back of the wax paper. Now that we've had our wall prepared for the decal and our decal rubbed well coming out of the mail to make sure that the masking tape is sticking, we're going to recommend that you use a hinge method. And the hinge method for a longer decal is easier to make sure the decal's in the right place. So you put your decal where you want it with the wax paper down and the masking transfer tape up. Utilize a piece of masking tape to lay across the middle of the decal to keep it held in place. Go slowly and patiently to make sure that you don't leave any of your decal behind, and to lift the decal off of the wax paper from one side. Once you have it lifted off, use a pair of scissors to cut half of the backing paper off. Now, carefully, and starting from the middle out, lay your decal back onto the wall. Now, you can remove the hinge and bend the decal back to where you can remove the backing paper. Be careful again to make sure that all of your decal releases onto the transfer tape, because we don't want to leave part of the decal on the backing paper. Once again, starting from the middle out, lay your decal back down, trying to avoid wrinkles. Now that you have your decal where you want it, use your credit card or squeegee to rub the decal onto the wall. You have to make sure to get all the edges very well because the wall is not always non-porous. Latex tape is better, but if you have textured wall, it can be a little bit difficult. So make sure to rub the whole decal very well. Now start from one corner and go slowly. If you notice that a piece of the decal starts to lift up, you can use a hobby knife to lift it off of the backing paper so that it remains on the wall. Use your finger as you go to make sure that it's sticking well. And if you notice, I'm pulling the paper off at a very steep angle, doubling back on itself. That helps the decal release. Be very careful around sharp edges. And go slowly in case you notice a problem, you can redo it. If, for instance, this G were to start lifting off, we could move the tape back over the G a little bit and rub it back on to give it another stickiness to the wall. If you noticed a piece came up there, we just push it back down on the wall. And there you have it. Now that your decal is on the wall, it won't come off. The tape tries to lift it off a little bit, but once the tape is gone, you have no issues with it falling off. And I know some people have flat latex painted walls, which are much easier to apply the decals, but if you had a textured wall the way I do, I wanted to make sure that you saw the best way to apply it. Thank you very much.